Okay, dear friends in Dhamma, we are going to conduct the last Dhamma discussion of this May retreat. So as usual, Chandrika is ready with the written reports. So we will start the session with written reports.
Avasara Bhante, we have received 5 reports today. Report number 1. Venerable Sir, in my sitting, I am in a habit of watching sensations. During this, the watching sensations takes place part by part, such as right side of my body, skull, right eye, right cheek, right chest, right arm, etc. Once the right side is completed, automatically the focus turns onto the left side. During this process, whichever the side is on concentration, I feel my head and eyeballs turns towards that side. I want to know whether this is a correct way to meditate, or if it is wrong, how should I change it? If it is correct, how should I improve? I start with Anapana and then the focus turn on to sensations. I have been practicing like this for about 3 years now. Thero and Saranai.
This kind of purposeful scanning, body scanning, is done particularly in the Goenka method. So that's also fairly a fruitful method. So I can't deny it. So there's a significant improvement yogis are getting through this purposeful from top to bottom. Say you are doing a body scan, and irrespective of whether you catch something or not, you are supposed to go further and further. One thing is that if in case you are able to recognize a particular sensation, you better stay there and investigate it for a while. Because I found that some yogis are very much like telling me, okay, we are supposed to scan and we are not here to thoroughly investigate. So that is not the point. Actually, you are supposed to thoroughly investigate. The investigation is the one productive of wisdom. It is not mere body scanning. Rather, when you come across a significant sensation, you have to observe it, you have to fairly investigate it so that you are learning from it. By that time, the mind is very quiet and it's well focused. And now you got an opportunity to look at it thoroughly. So you are taking the opportunity. Now you have also mentioned something similar. Say you are going to left hand, you are going to right hand, again shift into left hand. So likewise, so you are doing some kind of a systematic, kind of orderly type of scanning. But in case if you come across a fairly significant, prominent sensation, then better without in a rush to go to the other level, just observe that, just investigate that, because it's a fairly good opportunity to understand from it. But on the other hand, in the Mahasi method, so what we typically emphasize is not kind of a orderly or that say purposeful kind of a body scanning. Rather, we are developing kind of a skill. Irrespective of the place, whenever there is a sensation present, you can quickly land your attention on that. Say, for example, we are developing that skill through particularly say, for example, through walking meditation. So, your right foot is, where your right foot is, not the place where your left foot is. So, when you are putting your right foot, so you are supposed to place your attention there. And next, when your left foot is grounding, so it is completely, there's a significant shift. But you can focus your attention onto the left foot. So likewise, once this skill being developed, so you have the capacity to land your attention or focus your attention at any place in the body. So it's not easy task, by the way, but you are getting this ability. So you don't need to go through a purposeful body scanning like this. Rather, you are kind of developing Anapanasati, and now you start recognizing various sensations at different places in the body, and assume that you are interested of a prominent sensation. Then you can quickly land your attention there and you observe it. Assume that it disappears. Then you can switch back to another one, which is also at another place, which you found it is interesting. Okay, I better observe that. Okay, you switch your attention there, and then you start it, observe it, investigate it. Assume that also disappear, and then you switch your attention to something else, and again you observe it. In case nothing is there, you can go back to rising and falling or Anapanasati again. So that is another way of doing it. The advantage is that slowly, So these sensations start disappearing, and ultimately everything very much like become like a flux. You have nothing much to observe, so you can naturally mind start resting. Mind starts not grasping anything. So it is not that purposeful, deliberate kind of paying attention the most important, but the development of understanding is the most important. So when different sensations are there, you are observing them, investigating them, you are learning from them, you are developing certain understanding. So the impact of this understanding, the effect or the result of this understanding is all these different sensations ultimately collapse, or they disappear, they fade away, and everything appear like kind of a flux. There is no any much differences. So likewise, you get a kind of a feeling of dispassion, feeling of disenchantment. So these are the results, actually, results of Vipassana. So it's up to you what method to follow. And I found where the deliberate scanning may be useful at the beginning, but later you need to allow it to happen, rather than you do a very deliberate, purposeful kind of effortful scanning. You are stepping out of it, and sensations are available. Now you are selecting one of them, maybe a prominent one, observing it, assume that it disappears, then you are observing another one. So till they are available, you are going here and there and observing them, investigating them. So once they are disappearing, nothing much to do. So the mind naturally take a rest, mind naturally become dispassionate, mind has nothing to do. So all the sensations have passed, disappeared, everything very much like faded away. So the mind naturally resting, mind naturally giving up, disenchanted and dispassionate. So you know that it is not the arising and passing away of phenomena, the peace. What is the peace? What is the verse that we utter during the funeral? Anicca-vata sankhara uppadavaya dhammino. That means anicca-vata sankhara. So all the sankharas, all these conditioned phenomena are anicca, impermanent. Uppadavaya dhammino. So they show the characteristics. If they are arising, they pass away. It's a definite thing. Okay, it's a must. It's a truth. Uppadavaya dhammino. Uppajjitta nirujjahanti. Once they arise, they pass away. Tesang vupasamo sukho. What is that? So once everything disappear, everything cease. So that is the peace. That is the peace. So through the Vipassana, through Satipatthana, so we are arriving that peace. So as a result of arising and passing away, the continuous observation of arising and passing away, so you are getting, or you are developing certain amount of wisdom. So that wisdom is responsible for giving up everything, abandoning everything, no grasping. And now the mind is very much like uplifted, and now it is resting. Nothing is there to grasp, no object as such, established in peace, basically. Upasamo sukho. So this is where we need to very much like target. This is the kind of a direction. Now the mind has the capacity to dwell without grasping anything, without holding on to anything, without positioning its attention to anything, just resting. Nothing to do, just open up. So the conditioned phenomena are there, but now they have disappeared. Mind is not interested of conditioned phenomena. It is more biased towards the unconditioned, more inclined towards the unconditioned, inclined towards the non-attachment. So this is the kind of a deviation that one may take from the path, or deviation in the sense from the conditioned level. Now you are more into the other side. You are open up, nothing to deliberately look at, but mind is resting. Mind is not grasping, something like that.
If the yogi needs to discuss something, please come here.
Yeah.
Bhante, when it says investigation, does it mean like checking the change in nature of the sensations and
Yes.
also? Okay, so
Change in nature, I mean, how they are rising, how they are changing, how they pass away. And if that disappear, then there may be another phenomena. You focus onto that, how that is arising, how that is changing, how that is passing away.
So can we add the elements, 4 elements, can we observe that as well in this process?
Definitely. Because, I mean, so sensations, elements, characteristics are very, very close in a way. So how we interpret it is a difference. Now, say for example, I say, okay, there is a hardness available. So hardness actually produces some kind of a sensation as well, isn't it? It has a feeling tone as well. It may be a equanimous feeling, it may be a pleasurable feeling, it may be a painful feeling. So the way I look at it, I interpret it as a sensation, I interpret it as a, say, a feeling, or I can interpret it as a hardness, softness, roughness, smoothness. So if we are very much interpreting, or if we are very much emphasizing the form aggregate, then we are talking of the elements. If we are very much focusing onto the feelings, then we are into the feeling aggregate. So they are fairly interrelated actually. Fair close association is there. So whenever, say for example, now I can say I am sitting. Okay, I can feel some hardness, softness, whatever within my body. But from another point of view, I can say, okay, I feel little uncomfortable. I am feeling little, sweating. So this is where I am more concerned about the feeling side. Right, not to the sensation side, not to the element side, maybe to the feeling side. So I am feeling, say, uncomfortable. So the feeling side is the emphasis. But all five aggregates are operating at each moment. All 5 aggregates are present in each moment. Which one are we paying attention? Up to us. No problem. yeah.
Bhante, when I am doing the sensation observation, so it comes to the vibration level, but sometimes I think I go into a momentum where like my body starts to rock. I have
rotate? Body starts rotating?
Like
rock.
this.
Okay, something like that.
Or like this.
Right.
Or maybe from the spine to upward, I feel like it's kind of straightening up than the... But
is it now, is it going to an extent like, say, you lose your control and body takes over the whole thing and the body behaves in a more different, awkward way?
Sometimes it tried to, so I opened my eyes to stop that.
Right.
So it didn't go that far though.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So don't allow it to go that far because then we are very much like, the idea is we are maintaining certain amount of a concentration at our beneficial level. So it's a kind of a tool. So the concentration is a tool for our development of wisdom. So we are using that as a tool, as a mechanism, as a requirement to develop the wisdom. But it is not that concentration overwhelms or concentration overpowers the whole scenario. So the development of wisdom is the real goal, objective. For that, concentration is a requirement. But concentration is not the one who is fully overpowering, overwhelming. That is not the thing. So keep the concentration under your purview, under your control. So the necessary concentration you are maintaining, not excess, not allowing it to go to an excess level.
Okay. So can we take that one as upaklesha, bhavana upaklesha?
Where? If it goes to the excess,
yes.
Can, definitely. We can assume that it goes to a level where, say, you feel kind of... say concentration is overwhelming and you simply withdraw from the process, your body being completely controlled by the concentration, and it do some various awkward kind of twisting. So then you have very much like the purpose is lost. The purpose is the development of the wisdom, but now I am doing something completely wrong where the concentration is controlling the body as it likes. And I have become quite passive. I am completely passively become a victim of that whole process. That is not something fruitful, useful.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thero
Nissarana. Report number 2, Bhante. This has 3 parts. I'll read one by one. Theruvan Saranai Swamin Wahansa. I have 3 questions. Question number 1. In daily life, I try my best to be aware of what I am doing. I also see whatever feelings or thoughts that arise. Since recently, I have noted certain patterns of the mind that arise and envelopes my perception of life like steam that envelopes a kettle. I realize these are long-term habits, strokes, conditionings. I try to not be a slave to these patterns and think, stroke, do against it. Is that okay?
Sorry, can you repeat the last statement?
Okay. I try to not be a slave to these patterns and think or do against it.
Think or do against it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
It depends. No, I mean, there are various thoughts popping up. Now you are capable of observing them. You are not a victim to them. So you are very much like disclaiming them. Thoughts are there, but you are not supposed to every time act according to them. It is not your responsibility. I mean, sometimes what happens is there are thoughts and we think, okay, I am responsible for each and every thought. I am supposed to act according to these thoughts. No, I mean, thoughts are merely thoughts. And you can select. It's your option, your choice. Certain thoughts may be useful, maybe you can implement. Certain thoughts may not be useful, you can ignore. So you are acting at a different level. So you are the observer. You are the Buddha in a way. So you are awakened. You are awakened to these different things, but they are conditioned phenomena. They are thoughts. If necessary, you can trust them. You can act according to them. If not, you can ignore them. Allow them to pass.
Part 2. My job is very flexible and I often find myself with blocks of free time which my mind tells me to just be. However, I try to fill it with watching YouTube clips which dims my mind. But I still do it. I realize it because the low-level stimulation of just sitting and existing has so little stimulation and I has so little stimulation and I leave it. Yeah. Please advise, what should I do?
It depends on where you are. So at first, if you assume that you have enough time and all and you are interested in meditation and you are so concerned about your practice, then better restrain yourself. Maintain some indriya samvara, say kind of a restrainment. Because if you are engaged in too much watching movies, YouTube, etc., so it is fairly, consume your energy and your mind being further deluded. So ultimately what happens is, whatever the concentration you develop, whatever the mindfulness you develop, become slowly, completely worn out, dissipated, and you have to start from the beginning. So the indriya samvara, the restrainment of faculties, is a very important area for us to remember, to us to consider. Therefore, otherwise what happens is we are working hard, again we watch the YouTube, again we go back to the typical gossiping, again we lose everything. Again we work hard, again we go back to that type of enjoyment, again we lose everything. Never going to fulfill. But there's another level, it's a kind of exception we can say. Assume that you are coming to a level, say you now understand, okay, now mind naturally does not want to grasp much. Ditte mattang is there now. Now you can test yourself. Is it true? Is it possible to do it now? Assume that you are simply watching at a tree, for example. Are you able to look at the tree without involving with it? Not a big thing, no, you can do it probably, isn't it? A tree is there, it is not a lustful object. So you can simply look at it and your mind is very calm, relaxed and not involved, not agitated, and you may be maintaining a very relaxed mind, unattached, as we just discussed even today morning. So, but I am talking about a yogi who has done fair amount of practice and was able to maintain a mind completely unattached, unestablished, who is capable of doing the kind of ditte ditta mattam bhavisati. So seeing is merely seeing, and you are not supposed to think, you are not supposed to add your own stuff, your own likes, dislikes into the picture. Seeing is there. That's it. Now, how about looking at maybe a paddy field, maybe the sky? Still may be possible. Now, how about looking at a movie? Possible? YouTube? Possible? You can check. Are you able to look at a movie without adding your stuff? Without adding your likes, dislikes? You can test that.
Part 3. I wonder if I am wrong, but I sense a subtle I in the watcher mind too. I sense a weight in it. In my observations, if my observation is correct, please advise what I should do. Pinsiduveva.
Yeah, maybe because the sense of I is a very subtle defilement. The conceit I am, the asmimana, it is not that immediately we can overcome. That may overcome only when one becomes an arahant. So we may not be creating a self, a big self, but still that I am living, I am the one watching, may be there. That we can't immediately take out, but the path will take out slowly. It will happen slowly. So therefore we have to be a little patient in the process. So we can't say that I am not feeling sense of I at all immediately. That's very, in a way, too optimistic. If we are saying more realistically, okay, still the sense of I is there, but I am not making a huge I. I am not too much involved, but the seeing is there. Fairly time to time, I am not making a self. Often maybe I am not making a self, but still I feel the sense of I. That may be a fairly reasonable explanation, fairly reasonable observation. And you can refer Khemaka Sutta, same story. Same thing emphasized by Venerable Khemaka. It is supposed to be, he is anagami, non-returner, but he honestly accepts, I still have the sense of I. Even though I individually does not recognize any of these aggregates as me, myself, I don't believe that there is a self, but still I have the sense of I. With the practice, ultimately it will be abandoned, but it may take time.
Report number 3. Venerable Bhante, I had never tried walking meditation before this retreat. While doing walking meditation, I noticed that my mind goes into autopilot and starts chanting left, right, like in the marching band in the background. So instead of focusing on my footing, I started to focus on the sensations. I felt through my feet, how sand felt, how the carpet felt, etc. I noticed it helped me to concentrate better. Please advise. Thank you.
Definitely. So that is where we need to come. I mean, it is not that left, right is the practice. Rather, a beginner may be using it to to avoid the distractions. Because for a beginner, so even this walking, he can't maintain attention. Even though we feel like it's a very simple thing, but mind does not appreciate it. Mind may distracted of what you see, what you hear, and what you think. All those things become the distractions while the body is simply walking. But now what we are trying to do is, even when we see, hear, smell, taste, all that, think, but the prominence is given to the sensation, and that is what we have to emphasize. So now, say for example, in your case, you don't need to say left, right or lifting, moving, none of them are necessary. If your mind is very quietly, diligently looking at the sensation and you can recognize them properly, no problem. That is where we need to come. No harm. So you are supposed to do that as much as possible while walking. Do that practice. So basically you are practicing either, we can say either Vedananupassana or either elements meditation. So doesn't matter, as we already discussed. So these two aggregates, form aggregates or feeling aggregates, doesn't matter. Point is, we are learning. Name is not the important thing. how these things are happening, how the sensation arising, how they are changing, how they pass away, how impermanent they are, how non-self they are, how non-governable they are, and what are the causes making them. And if you are looking at from the form aggregate point of view, elements point of view, okay, this hardness, how this hardness arise, change, pass away, how vibrations are arising and passing away. Doesn't matter, whatever the name you give it, doesn't matter, but the observation, critical investigation is the most important thing.
If you need to discuss more, please raise your hand.
Yeah, and there's one over there. Good, yeah. One moment, yes. We'll bring you the mic. So thanks for your participation at this stage. How old are you?
81.
Ah, excellent. See, what an example.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Is it all right to do walking meditation with a walking stick? and if it is okay, how do I sort of coordinate?
Probably you can use that also. Now the walking stick, when you are say positioning it, probably you can feel some hardness to your hand and maybe some vibration to your hand, maybe a shocking sensation to your hand. You can watch that as well. I mean, everything you can make use of. So, I mean, more prominent is the important thing. Whatever prominent is the important thing. Say, when your foot is touching the ground, if that sensation become prominent, okay, use that. So, when you are holding the walking stick and landing it on the ground, and if that sensation become prominent, make use of that. Doesn't matter. Good.
Report number 4. Most Reverend Bhante, my question connects to the morning Dhamma discussion. Will you please explain in brief the way we could practice 7 factors of Bodhi, Sattish Bodhipakshika Dharma, in our Anapanasati meditation? Expect a thorough explanation. If Bhante so wish, it is better in a future program. If Bhante has already done such deshana, how could I get the connection to those sessions, please? Oba Wahanseta Theruwan Sarana.
Yeah, you can refer Anapanasati Sutta. The Anapanasati Sutta is a very good resource to refer how the different levels of these Bodhipakya Dhammas are being developed. So Buddha very beautifully mentioned that there, explained that there. Another interesting thing is he didn't include all 37, by the way. So we now, according to today's Dhamma sermon, you may get the impression, okay, I have to develop 4 Satipatthana, I have to develop 4 Sammappadhana, I have to develop 4 Iddhipada, 5 faculties, 5 powers, spiritual powers, 7 enlightened factors. 37, my goodness, 37, no. many things are there. So you might get that impression. But in the Anapanasati Sutta, you get a shortcut. So Anapanasati Sutta explain, okay, don't worry about 37. So Anapanasati will be developed in 16 steps. First 4 steps you can contribute towards the Kayanupassana. Second 4 steps you are contributing towards Vedananupassana. Third stage you are contributing towards the Chittanupassana. Last 4 you are contributing towards the Dhammanupassana. And all these 4 Satipatthana will contribute development of the 7 enlightenment factors. There's a quick jump to the 7 enlightenment factors. There is no statement much about the Sammappadhana, Satara Iddhipada, Pancha Indriya, Pancha Bala. Those are not mentioned. So there's a quick succession to the 7 enlightenment factors. But the idea, as far as I can understand, is as we develop, say, Satipatthana, so others are naturally very much included like. But the significant difference happen maybe at a Bojjhanga level, and if we are thoroughly analyzed, there may be subtle differences. But there are a fair amount of overlappings available in these 37 factors. And it is not that 37 entirely distinct factors we are talking. Say, for example, Virya. So Virya is explained at I think 9 places within this 37. 9 places. And Sati, the mindfulness, at I think 8 places it is explained. So the certain factors are repeatedly explained here and there, but they are evolving. So they are evolving. They are not kind of some unique standing type of factor, but rather it is evolving quality that we are talking. Say when you are developing Kayanupassana, you have that level of Sati, mindfulness. When you are developing Vedananupassana, another level of Sati. Chittanupassana, another level of Sati. Dhammanupassana, another level of Sati. Say when you are talking Sati Indriya, another level of Sati. Sati Bala, another level of Sati. Sati Sambojjhanga, another level of Sati. Then Samma Sati, another level of Sati. So likewise the same Sati is being evolved at different levels. So Buddha, for us to easily understand, so he is explaining, okay, you better concentrate on this way, like that. So he is showing us a kind of a map so that we can understand. But internally, these are spiritual qualities slowly maturing in a way. So in the Anapanasati Sutta is a very good resource. You can listen to that. I covered that several times. Maybe I think I covered in Kalalgoda also. And Sinhala several times I have covered. And there's a book, Anapanasati Sutra, in Sinhala. You can read that also. And so Buddha very beautifully mentioned how 4 Satipatthanas are contributing towards the 7 enlightenment factors, and how the 7 enlightenment factors are to be developed so that you can achieve Vijja Vimutti, the knowledge and the freedom. So fairly comprehensive but really interesting and very resourceful sutta, Anapanasati Sutta.
Report number 5, something similar, Bhante. Theruvan Saranai Swamin Wahansa. ආර්ය අෂ්ටාංගික මාර්ගයේ සියලුම බෝධිපාක්ෂික ධර්මයේ ඇතුළත් වෙලා තියෙනවා නේද? උදාහරණයක් සතර සතිපට්ඨාන සම්මා සති, සතර සම්මප්පදාන වීරිය සම්මා වායාම, පංච ඉන්ද්‍රිය සම්මා දිට්ඨි සම්මා වායාම සම්මා සති and so on.
Yeah, we can say so. Now if we are අපි දැන් හතර සතිපට්ඨාන ගැන කිව්වොත් ඒකෙත් අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් මේකෙත් සම්මා දිට්ඨිය තියෙනවා, මේකෙත් සම්මා සතිය තියෙනවා, මේකෙත් මේ සම්මා වාචා කම්මන්ත ඉතින් ඔය ටික තියෙනවා කියලා ඉතින් මේකත් එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඊළඟට ආරෂ්ඨාංග මාර්ගය අරගෙනත් මෙතනත් සීලය තියෙනවා, මෙතනත් සමාධිය තියෙනවා, මෙතනත් ප්‍රඥාව තියෙනවා. එහෙම එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා මේවා සෑහෙන්න අන්තර් සම්බන්ධතා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒකයි මේ ඒ කියන්නේ අපි අර එම්ෆසයිස් කරන ඒරියා එක අනුව තමයි. අපි වැදගත්කමක් දීලා කතා කරන කොටස අනුව තමයි ඒකට දෙන නම අනුව තමයි මේක මෙන්න මේ කොටසයි අපි කතා කරන්න කියලා ටිකක් බෙදලා දක්වන්නේ. නමුත් මේවා ඇතුලේ සෑහෙන අන්තර් සම්බන්ධතා තියෙනවා.
Report number 6. Dear Bhante, is there a difference in Sakkaya Ditti and Asmimana? I've heard that you overcome Sakkaya Ditti once you attain Sotapanna. Do you overcome Asmimana once you understand Anatta? Is it during Arahat Pala?
Fairly correct. So Sotapanna is the level that you abandon Sakkaya Ditti, what we call as the personality view. But one has to become an arahant, fully enlightened being, to abandon Asmimana. So Asmimana is very much like the center of our whole thinking, our whole experience. So we have the sense of I, self-centered kind of way that we define everything. We perceive everything, we experience everything based on a centered I. So that becomes our kind of navel point. And to abandon that, as you also mentioned, it may take time, but the Sakkaya Ditti on the other hand may be a very gross level of identification. So thinking, okay, this body is me, this body is me, or the feelings are me, various perceptions, okay, this is me. So thinking, okay, thinking is myself. So likewise, very gross level identification, whole bunch, it is not just one thought, all different thoughts are, this is me, this is my thinking, okay, this is my idea. So likewise, I mean, we refer in the typical terminology, but more than the terminology, we have a strong identification, okay, this is my body, okay, here I am. oh, this is my feeling, so this is what I am. So likewise, so as we practice, as say for example in Kayanupassana, so when we are thoroughly investigating the body, thoroughly investigating the physical components, there we understand, okay, there can't be I. So which part I can say as myself? So likewise, the grasping become less and less. Your traditional, conceptual, that taking the body as me, myself, become less and less. A fair amount of detachment can happen. Your mind may be uplifted. All the aggregates are not now thoroughly grasped, but your mind may become fairly calm, relaxed, not grasping. Still the sense of I is there. This strong identification may not be there, sakkayaditthi might not be there, still the sense of I is there. That's the problem. It's a different level actually, and how to clearly say, okay, this is sakkayaditthi, this is sense of I, a bit difficult. Typically the satkaya, that means the whole bunch taking as something existing and considered as myself. So that's the typical definition given, and Buddha further explain it with respect to all different aggregates, and each aggregate will be taken in 4 different ways. Immediate identification as this body is I am, this body as myself, or this body belong to me, or I am inside the body. So inside me there is body. So likewise some different perceptions we can have with respect to body and I, a self. So more we thoroughly investigate, so these kinds of wrong perceptions become fairly abandoned. Yeah, that's...
This is not a report, Bhante. Most Venerable Bhante, here we are paying our deepest gratitude to you for your unconditional guidance for us to excel in the Dhamma path. The Dhamma knowledge and the experiences we gain from you, Bhante, cannot be measured or spoken like this. We are definitely going to miss your kind advice and guidance for few months. Hope we will be able to survive and progress with all your guidance we received in the past. May we wish you a safe journey and wishing ample leisure time for you to progress in your Dhamma path according to your Dhamma goals and desires. Thero Saranai, Kalalgoda Yogis.
Sadhu, sadhu. Hope you survive. And I hope I also survive. Because I am also going through some new experiences, so you hope we see how things happen.
Realize that it's another attachment, really.
Interesting. I mean, I think I continuously did this program for how long now? 7 years? More than that, no? More than that. Maybe 8 years or something. I can't remember when we started. We'll see.
So every month we've been seeing you, and we are not going to see you for some time now.
Yes. Good.
But I suppose we will have to carry on what you have guided us.
Yeah, actually there are now in Kalalgoda we have done a fair, comprehensive, discussion on Dhamma. And we have taken from many different, useful suttas for our practice, and fair amount of contribution is there. So you can refer them again and again. The recordings are available. And I feel it is fair enough. I mean, anyone who are, even if you are a beginner, so fair amount of resources are there. So you can listen to them, you can refer them, several books are also published based on some Kalalgoda retreats. And so Sinhala says sermons are there, English sermons are there, fair amount of resources are there. So it's also your responsibility to work hard. So enough resources are there, not only the Dhamma, even the facilities. Now say we have some fairly good walking paths, all the other good association, all the participants are very eager to practice. So that's something to appreciate, and you get an example from them. And they are also quite helpful. And all these facilities are very, very useful for the one's practice. So take the advantage of it, get the opportunity from that, and you also can develop, definitely. So wish you all the best.
Yes, Bhante, we wish, though you said wishing won't work, in the morning you said that wishing won't work, but still we wish and pray that you will achieve all your Dhamma goals and achieve everything what you need and come and guide us for us also to achieve same.
Okay, we'll see. Thero Saranai. Okay, so we don't have any other question from your side? Yeah, there's one over there.
Since we won't be able to get your guidance for a while, I thought I'd pose my question now.
Yeah.
This is based on yesterday's sermon, Bhante, on the Kalalgoda Sutta.
Yeah.
And you were talking about this Shunnata Bhumi and the non-existence of beings and objects.
Non-existence of?
Beings.
Uh-huh.
And objects. Can we think that it's the reflection or the projection of the consciousness?
Reflection of a consciousness?
Yes.
You mean it's an illusion? Or you are talking from a positive point of view?
Kind of a illusion.
Illusion?
Yeah. Because Lord Buddha also has said like consciousness is something similar to Maya.
We can say so. So, I mean, we objectify, and when we objectify, now say when we are looking at outside, so we objectify, okay, this is the mind, this is the, say, clock, likewise, so we objectify. So that objectification happens because of ignorance, and the contribution coming from vijnana is a must for that. You know, now when I am looking at this as a clock, so that is I am talking of eye consciousness, and then it has gone through some mind consciousness as well, manovinyana as well. So everything depends on the ignorance. Avijja pacca sankhara, sankhara pacca vijnana, vijnana pacca namarupam. All have happened. All those have happened. So I can't objectify without the illusion or delusion or this ignorance. So, but for the typical conventional point of view, I am using the terms. Now say Buddha also might say, okay, this is the clock. Okay, it is Venerable Sariputta, it is Venerable Moggallana. So we need to use the terminology, we need to use the language to proper communication. Just for that purpose they are using it, even the Arahants are using it. But knowing that intrinsically there is no Venerable Sariputta. Venerable Sariputta is a term that we are using to recognize this particular combination of conglomeration of all these five aggregates. So I am giving a name. Okay, this combination of five aggregates, Venerable Sariputta. This combination of five aggregates, Venerable say Moggallana, whatever. Other than that, there is no real intrinsic Sariputta or intrinsic Moggallana. That's a name. That's a label. So likewise. So they have that thorough understanding in them, but they can use the typical terminology to communicate with the others. But for us, or for say typical worldlings or completely ignorant people, so they immediately grasp, they immediately say this is a clock, this is a beautiful one, this is a say very petty one or whatever. So they see more than what it is, isn't it? Rather than simply recognizing this as a Pataviyapo Tejo Vayo, they add their own stuff into it. Their likes, dislikes, their value judgments, everything they include onto the vision, onto their seeing. So that is where we go wrong. So we should come to the level, okay, we are in a position to look, but not grasping anything and not naming, labeling, objectifying, but the vision is there, something like that. So, I mean, as you said, I can agree with you. So, it's an illusion of the consciousness, yes, because it is being governed by or influenced by the ignorance. Yeah. So, I ask a question from you. So then, when someone is simply seeing, what happened to the consciousness?
You merely think that it's just...
merely think?
No, not think. Then it goes to... then your other sense start working.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you have your 6 senses. Only one sense work at one time, right? So when you see, it's just mere seeing.
Mere seeing, no. I mean, even that level, we are trapped. So if we simply say seeing is mere seeing, it doesn't mean that I avoid all hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, and I only see this as a clock. Then what it is? Just 4 aggregates, so 4 elements. But still, it is for you something, no? That is also not the proper solution. Say, you assume that I am showing this to an infant, newly born baby, and I am showing it like in an attractive way. He doesn't know the name of this. Is he an arahant? Because he don't know the name, no. Then what's the problem? Now he may not know the value of it, the purpose of it, as we know, I mean, there is no, now we know many of it, so that's a problem. But an infant, so I am showing like this, so his eyes may go like this, something. Is he fully all right? The problem is actually, now even though he doesn't know the name, still for him it is a something. It is something, no? So his mind also landed upon something. Though the name is not there, the purpose is not available, but his mind also landed on it. Discrete consciousness is there. Now when we are talking about the consciousness, so that is why we have to deeply understand. So the typical consciousness is a kind of a discrete consciousness. Very much like a distinct consciousness. So we narrow down our attention, we focused our attention, and we land our attention onto something. Then it's a discrete consciousness. It's a landed consciousness, established consciousness. But when we simply say ditte dittamattang, sutte sutamattang, all that, so that consciousness is absent. Such consciousness is absent, very much like. There is no established consciousness. It is not established at any place. So the consciousness is unestablished. So we have to say the consciousness is unestablished. It is not landed upon anything. Even though mere seeing is there, so you haven't objectified and landed your attention onto anything. Your attention is not narrowed down. Rather, the mind is quite open. Vimariyadi katena chetasa viharami. You can see the combination, how things are properly connected like. So while Buddha is saying seeing is there, still the mind is open. How it can happen? I mean, if you are seeing something, then your mind has to focus onto it, land your attention there, establish your attention there, then only you can say, I see it. But here, mere seeing is there, but your attention is not landed on anything, and mind is unestablished, consciousness is unestablished. So we have to go to that level actually, to give a thorough explanation. The consciousness has to become unestablished, anidassana, apatithita. Then we can say, there is something like that. So even though the kind of vision is there, I have not particularly looking at someone, not particularly looking at something, but a kind of a vision is there, isn't it? So mind is very clear, very clean, but not blocked with something like that. Very interesting area actually for us to investigate. Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah. It's okay. Last.
Yes, please take the opportunity.
Yeah. Shalini. Correct? Shalini. Okay.
Swamin Vansa, so based on her question, unestablished means, would it mean that it's we are not allowing it to go into Vedana? Like, now once we see, that means Passa has taken place, no?
Yes.
So after
then only the Vedana may happen.
Yes, so we are not allowing it to go into Vedana, is it?
We can say so. We can say so. So that typical Patisaupada impact is not functioning like. So, I mean, if I am ignorant, then I am again establishing consciousness, again the sankharas are going on, I am saying it is this and that and all that, the contact happened, then the Vedana, the perceptions, all that things are going to happen. But say, if mind is withdrawn from the whole thing, and no sankhara has a big meaning, no? So there is no contribution coming from my end. Even though seeing is there, I am not objectifying, I am not labeling, I am not adding my desires into it, my likes to it, dislikes to it, my value judgment, nothing is there. Seeing is only happening. So your contribution stopped. A different kind of interesting phenomena, what happened is, when we are experiencing something, more than the experience, we add our own judgments. Isn't it? We add our own stuff into the picture. We color the experience. So how about experiencing something without adding our own judgments? Isn't it? Mere experience. So I think this is what Arahants are doing. So they are experiencing, but they are not adding their own value judgments, their own, say, prejudices or attachments, repulsions. Nothing is there. Very interesting.
Yes, so that means Vedana is there to a certain extent, no, Swamin Wahanse? Like, because some things at least, maybe say for example, the body aches are there. Now the thing is, now if we have to go to the very, very thorough or pristine level, we have to say then he is in the Arahattapala Samadhi. Then he is experiencing the Nibbana to the fullest. Say everything has ceased, not even feelings. Okay, he is in the Arahattapala Samadhi, completely purified, mind completely unestablished. So he is experiencing it to the fullest. So, but on the other hand, during the typical mundane life, definitely they may have the feelings. So we can justify like that. Yes. But the interesting thing is no defilements. Raga dosa moha is not there, even though, feelings are there. So they are not identifying this as, okay, this is me, myself, or something like that. But the bodily feelings, aches and pains, those may be there. They have to bear it, be patient with it, can't help. As Buddha mentioned in the Chula Sunyata Sutta. So that is exactly what Buddha is saying. So agitation, any kind of pains coming because of the Kamasava is not there now. Any kind of agitation coming because of the Bhavasava is not there now. Any kind of agitation coming because of the Avijjasava is not there now. So it is empty. Empty of asavas, empty of the agitation, whatever coming from the asavas. So his mind is fairly free in that sense. But still the body is functioning. There is a living body. Whatever the agitation, burden coming because of this salayatana, still present. Not empty. Very realistic in a way. Even if you become an arahant, still the body will get age, it will go through some sicknesses, unavoidable. I think, Swamin Wahanse, other than sicknesses and all, but your daily, when you hear something that you don't want to hear or see, then exactly. You can do the ditta mattang. No, that's easy then. Earlier I thought there is no way you can do that, but when you go on practicing, you can. No?
Can, definitely. Because that's why I mentioned, now say, looking at a tree, still you can do ditta mattang. Say you can at a sky, you can do. Looking at a movie, if there is no ragadosa moha, one should be able to do that. Ditta mattang should be able to do, because the ragadosa moha is the one doing the adding part, construction part, contribution part, fabrication part. If it is not there, even they see something beautiful, attractive, still the mind remains unattached. Should be able to do that. Rago ko also nimitta karano, doso nimitta karano, moho nimitta karano. The raga, dosa, moha is the one adding a value and identifying them as signs It's a beautiful one, it's a bad one, ugly one, narrow, all that dualistic way of thinking, raga, dosa, moha. Interesting. Okay then, we have spent fair amount of time. I think we'll wind up the session then. That is Punyanamodana. Today's breakfast dana was offered by Tamara Veerasinghe. May the alms giving performed with devotion bring us all happiness and inner peace. Blessings for good health and a speedy recovery to her husband, Mr. D. Veerasinghe, who is very sick. Also giving merits to the deceased relatives of the family. May the merits gained from this wholesome act and dana help shorten the journey of samsara for all who contributed. And then today's lunch dana was offered by Ira de Silva. Today is my late father Mahanama de Silva's 46th death anniversary. May the merits gained from dana help shorten his samsara and achieve nibbana in near future. Okay, these are the short sharing of merits we have received, and all these 3 days we have spent fair amount of time practicing the Dhamma, listening to Dhamma sermons and participating in Dhamma discussions. All the merits what we have accumulated, we share with all our past relatives, all celestial beings and whoever in need of merits. And we wish these merits help us also to attain path, fruition, nibbana. We'll recite the traditional verses. Ettavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Ettavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Ettavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Akasattha ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanang. Akasattha ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanang. Akasattha ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mamparang. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Imina punya kammena māme bāla samāgamo satang samāgamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiyā. Imina punya kammena māme bāla samāgamo satang samāgamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiyā. Imina punya kammena māme bāla samāgamo satang samāgamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiyā. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, in order to observe Ajivattamaka Sila, you may recite Namo Tassa 3 times.